Magikarp is categorized as a fish Pokemon, and so is Phoebus. So if both Pokemon have the same category, then why don't I see any Phoebus in Lumio City? Think you could bring me a Feebas to have of my own? Do I have one? There we go. It's a Feebas. Wow, thanks. I hope we'll get along swimmingly. That was an easy one to start off. Let's see what you want. Oh, okay. Hello, kind trainer. I'm Trikes. I work for the Postal Service here in Lumios. This Pokemon, Mime Jr., is here to help us collect the mail from our customers. But I've got one minor concern. You see, this will be Mime Jr.'s first time going out solo. Thought about trying to follow along to keep an eye on things, but I'd be spotted in no time. That's why I'd like to ask you for your assistance. Please look after Mime Jr.'s first big job for me. If you're ready and willing to lend a hand, please let me know. Yeah, let's do it. I'll give Mime Jr. one last set of instructions. You just follow along and keep an eye on things. Mime Jr., you remember what to do, right? You'll gather the letters from a yellow post box like this. Now off you go to Juan Sector 6. Collect the mail to be sorted. Please follow along, Mime Jr. From a reasonable distance. Don't lose sight of it. Me? Battle the wild Pokemon to clear a path for Mime Jr. You're supposed to be in the wild zones? How did you get into the city? That was easy. Thank you so much for looking after Mime Jr. And you, my fine apprentice, you did split? You did splendidly on your first big solo job. Yes, you did. Here's a little something to express my gratitude. This postal worker appreciates your service. Mr. Me, I am a Quasartigo Inc. employee charged with city's wild zone management. Unfortunately, we've been receiving reports of wild Pokemon acting oddly here in Wild Zone 8. I'm sorry to have to bother you, but I'd like to request your help investigating the situation. If you would lend us a hand, please go find out what is happening in Wild Zone 8. What's going on? They're not underground. What is it, a Steelix or something? Oh, they're Sandygast. Reliable as ever. You didn't merely assess the situation, you resolved it. I'd hazard a guess that those Sandygast arrived from Hyperspace Lumios and made themselves right at home. Sandile and the other local Pokemon must have been quite frightened by them. Have you ever read Sandygast's Pokedex entry? Grudges of the dead have possessed a mound of sand and become a Pokemon, it says. Sandygast is fond of the shovel on its head. A creation born of the grudges from those who have passed away. How frightful. Should be on my way if you'll excuse me. The baker. Yes. Could you take my Fido for a walk? Oh. Fido needs to go on walks to stay healthy, but I'm a bit busy today. Okay, Fido, let's go, boy. Or girl. Yeah, I can do it now. There's a route Fido and I like to go on. Climb these stairs and go down the alley. On the right, you'll see a yellow post box. Fido likes to take a lap around the wild zone. Alright, Fido, I'll see you soon. Oh, it's the baker's Fido taking a walk with this youngster today, hmm? How nice. Enjoy your walk. Whoa there, Mastiff. No need to growl. Sorry about that. My Mastiff can be a little big-headed. I wish it wasn't such a troublemaker. Anyway, your Fido is cute. I see you were asked to take it for a walk. I guess once trainers get to talking, Pokemon let their fur down a bit too. Okay, Fido, see you around. This little Fido's pretty popular around town. Aw, how cute. I know what the Pokemon that is. It's a Fido. Can I play with it? Fido looks happy that it got to play a little during its walk. Time to go back to the requester. Looks like you had fun on your walk. Thanks. The yeast in Fido's breath ferments things around it. I use that yeast to make bread. The bread's been so popular that I haven't had time to take Fido on walks lately. But from now on, I'll be sure to make time for my Fido and my baking. After all, I can't let other people see my own cute Fido more than I do. Would you look at this rare specimen? A fine Viper like mine is seldom ever seen in Lumios. Huh? That's an Arbok. No, that's an Arbok. Do I have one? Looks like we'll have to come back to this one. Oh. You did it. Flamigo is asleep. Now we have to do is use Dream Eater. Thank you very much for helping my poor insomniac Flamigo get a rest. It seems to be feeling much better now that I got some much needed shut-eye. I'm sure we'll be back the next time Flamigo has trouble sleeping. That was a fine demonstration. Surely Musharna is ready for any future customers. Thank you for your help. Now my dream business, Reve de Musharna, will be a grand success. If you ever think that any of your Pokemon need some sleep, please bring them to me. Him again. Let's see what kind of story he wants us to. Bryson and Sabrina? Okay, let's see. One has to be a dark type. One has to be an alpha. One has to be fighting. One needs to know teleport. And one needs to be a normal type. I think I got them all. Alright. Alpha is Skrull. And that would be Helioptile. Absol. Abra. And Metatite. Alright, let's see what this story is this time. Our setting is a mansion deep in the mountains of the Kalos region. It is owned by famed millionaire Skrelp. It also currently houses 3 guests and a certain treasure. The first of the guests is a trainer by the name of Helioptile. Then there is our millionaire's former flame Absol, and a jewel collector named Abra. The mansion's butler, Tawny, is unobtrusive yet ever present, seeing all the guests' needs. One evening, the guests are all called together to a very special room of the mansion. This room serves as a giant safe, so fortified that the move Ragefist would not crack its defenses. So explains the butler, Tawny. In the safe's corner, lovingly displayed in pride of place, shines the grandiose jewel known only as Metatite's Tear. This mythical treasure is rumored to have been a gift from the former king of the land, AZ. The mansion's owner gazes upon it regularly every morn and eve to sustain their spirits. The sun has barely risen in the morning after the showing when a terrible howl echoes through Skrelp's mansion. The guests gather in front of the safe room that contained the treasure, drawn by that awful noise, and there the millionaire cries out, "My treasure has been stolen." One of my guests must have done it. Resenting the accusation, Absol demands, "Why us? Why not your butler?" But the butler, Tawny, has a cast iron alibi. She'd been playing cards with her employer all night. Helioptile and Abra readily agree to a search of their persons and belongings. But even after the butler inspects all the guests, there's still no trace of the stolen jewel. Only Helioptile was found carrying anything no more than a Pokeball, perfectly normal item for a Pokemon trainer to have. So who stole the treasure known as Metatite's Tear? I'm going to say it's Helioptile and it's in the Pokeball. The evil trainer had left one of their Pokemon in the room to wait until everyone was gone so it could steal the treasure for its master. When everyone began to gather at the room the next morning, the Larcenius Lout quietly called the Pokemon back to its Pokeball, concealing both it and the treasure to cover their tracks. Okay, I wasn't totally wrong. Wonderful, isn't it? Such a bold and elaborate setup, worthy of a criminal genius. It's a masterpiece. Hey you, there, trainer, how about... Wait, Jolteon, I haven't even had time to explain. My Jolteon is just too hasty by nature. Even the slightest hint of battling in my Pokemon's future sends it running in a flash toward the nearest battle court. Now that my Jolteon's got its hopes up, I'd hate to let it down. Would you help me out and battle us? I'll be waiting for you at the battle court. Oh, come on, you haven't even given him a chance to respond. And it's over just like that. That strength is just what I'd expect of Team MZ. You're the real deal. But you have to admit, Jolteon and the rest of my team were fast, right? Their hasty nature. Some Pokemon's natures can even make them faster in battle. A hasty nature will do that, of course, but the same goes for a timid, jolly, or naive nature. Being speedier helps a Pokemon out because it'll take less time between moves. But even the fastest Pokemon in the world would still need about 3 seconds to reuse a move. Oh, and then you also have to consider... And it's off again. Oh, nice. We got mints. What could be more marvelous, more miraculous than a multi-strike moves? They're nimble, they're stylish, they flow so elegantly, not to mention that you get to make a bunch of hits in a row. If you land every hit, think of what world of hurt your opponent will be in. If your opponent uses Protect, having a series of staggered hits can let you get around it. Plus, just think of what multi-strike moves can do if you use an item to boost your critical hit ratio. And I'm just getting started. Can I interrupt? Okay, fine, let's battle. Then prepare for my unrelenting, overwhelming, marvelous buffet of multi-striking. Even if your multi-strike moves hit every time, it doesn't guarantee you'll win, such as battling. Marvelous. You fought wonderfully. I have much to reflect on. For example, not every blow in a multi-strike move will always land. Not to mention that while your Pokemon is using a move, it's wide open to being attacked. Timing, positioning. There's so much to consider. I need to battle more. Perhaps then I can see if... Triple Axle is an Ice-type move in which the user delivers 3 graceful jumping blows. That's not all. Each jump is higher than the last and hits a wider radius also. The joy of landing each attack, the thrill of strategizing around a sequence of strikes. I hope you'll join me in sharing the delight of multi-strike moves.